What do you think of Arthur Hayes' assertion that Bitcoin's going to take a short-term dip to 90,000? Is that a healthy flush or a sign that leverage is still dominating conviction?
Well, you know what I've been saying for quite some time. Bitcoin is for flight. So, when Trump says, oh, no, you're not having any weapons, Ukraine, suddenly, boom, up it goes. Because there's a load of Ukrainians going, oh, my God, I'm going to have to run away, buy Bitcoin, put it in my back pocket, put it in my smart stick. Yeah, and then suddenly something changes, like Iran, right? Iran, when all that bombing went off, Bitcoin went through the floor because Iran was stashing Bitcoin by mining it, and they dumped it into the market. So it's this geopolitical thing at the moment, which is all about short-term stress in the market. Bitcoin is for flight, gold is for war, right? And you can watch all this geopolitical warmongering and tension going on, and of course that's going to go on forever. So gold's going to go up forever, and Bitcoin's going to go bang crash, depending on if there are people planning to flee or not. And if there's no flight stress out there, I think Bitcoin can come down quite a long way.
Paul, I want to ask you, I know you're coming from the Austrian school, as I understand. The bill extends Trump's tax cuts while expanding spending. From an Austrian view, does this deepen the debt trap that we're in, or just delay the reckoning?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think we'll kind of see. I'm waiting to see what else the federal government does, because this is not the final spending bill. That is to say, they still have to do appropriations of various kinds, and I'm hopeful that they might be able to get more spending cuts down the road. This is not an encouraging step in that direction. But then again, the main point was the tax cuts, and it sort of had to happen. Trump put a lot of political capital in it, so they kind of had to make this happen. And so they gave a ton of concessions to various members of Congress who wanted this, that, and the other thing. And so it's a lot uglier as opposed to beautiful than it should have been. But the tax cuts are the big part. So to your question, not only did it solidify the tax cuts from 2017, it actually created some new ones. Some of them are, not going to be particularly useful. Clem mentioned earlier the tax on tips or overtime. We'll see. I wouldn't put much stock in whether that's going to really do much for the economy. But there are a couple expensing tax cuts that came in for new plants and new manufacturing processes. And so companies can now expense significant capital improvements up front in full. And that could have a very good stimulative effect, not just in the short-term GDP, but from a supply side production standpoint.